to get to the program to start searching through the agenda. So from our website, from the 2023 Chicago landing page, along the menu, we've got a menu item for the 2023 program. So if we click on that, then we'll get to our agenda page. Once it loads. Of course, it's going to be a bit slower since we've got the video going. So it'll be hopefully, it'll be quicker for you when you're not in the midst of a call. But everything will go a little bit slower right now. So on our program page, we've got along the top just a general guide that sort of lets you know what are general sessions. Those are those main stage assemblies and plenaries that everyone goes to where there's nothing else going on simultaneously. That's those main stage sessions. Parallel sessions are sessions that are happening parallel to each other, so at the same time as each other. Those are all of those panels, observances, performances, workshops that you have lots of options to choose from. And so workshops, that's a type of parallel session where it's more about skill building, hands-on. And then we've got community events that are off-site, that are part of the schedule that you could leave the venue to go to around the community. Then here we've got the full schedule that you can search through. This is from the event app, which you will be able to download to your phone. It's not available for your phone quite yet, but we'll be sending an announcement when it's ready to be downloaded. We'll first take a look at the week schedule, because that just gives us a general overview. And for you guys, is it showing the new tab, or is it still showing?
Yes, it's just loading.
All right, so here's our general overview of the week. So the convening officially starts on Monday, but before that, on Sunday, we have a pre-parliament community event, the Parade of Faiths, which is going to be from 1:30 to 3:30 downtown Chicago. And that's going to be a parade celebrating the diversity of the local Chicago religious community. Then on Monday, our convening officially begins, opening at 10 a.m. with the opening ceremony. Then we go to lunch. For those who have not been to a Parliament convening before, lunch is provided from the Sikh community in the form of a langar that we share together. After that, we have an assembly. So we've got a few assemblies through the week, which are some larger sessions dedicated to specific program areas of the Parliament. So we have a global ethic assembly. We also have 2 climate assemblies. So one of them is here on Monday, the other is on Friday morning. On Tuesday, there's a women's assembly. That is it for the assemblies, right? Yes. And then there is a plenary session each day. So on the first day is the opening ceremony. Second day, the plenary focuses on crises. Third day, plenary focuses on that call to conscience. Fourth day, the plenary focuses on community. And then on the 5th day, we have the closing ceremony. So then within there, we've got those parallel sessions where all of those panels and workshops and everything else occurs. And then in the evenings, Tuesday and Wednesday, we've got some community activities. And Thursday, there's sacred music night. So then going back to the detailed schedule, scroll down a bit. So this is where you can search around to see what you might want to attend. And I'll point out this very first thing you see. This is an event only for you, only for our members. So we have 2 networking sessions just for our members as a chance to get to know each other, network with each other, build some connections that can hopefully be lasting. So the first one is that the very first day before any of the events, before the opening ceremony, right at 8 a.m. So registration opens at 7, and then before, after you register, before you go to the opening ceremony, you can come to this networking event. And then we're going to have another one on the last day. So you'll have a chance to network with your fellow members the first day and the last day. Something else I'll point out is as you're going through the schedule, when you see things that you think, oh yes, I definitely want to make sure I attend that. After you have logged in, which when you're able to download the program to your phone, you'll be able to log in, and you can then bookmark schedules, which will then save it to your sessions. So then when you go to my sessions, you can see just the things that you've bookmarked. That's an easy way to save things. You can also click on this little calendar icon, which will add it to your personal calendar. So if you use Google, Yahoo, iCalendar, Outlook, you can add it to your calendar. So now for searching through the schedule, of course, for anyone who has been to a convening before, you know that there are so many sessions to choose from. So how do you narrow it down? Well, there's a few ways to filter the schedule to narrow things down. Right here, we're looking at the sessions. If we click here, we can look at the speakers. We can find specific speakers that we like. So let's, after it loads. Oh, no. Here we go. So let's say we want to find our sessions from our very own Abigail Albert. If I search her name.
I'm not a speaker. I'm only helping out on Sunday before the Parliament begins at the women's group.
All right, I thought you said
Not this year. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's search our Evangeline. You are doing sessions, right? Yes, here we are. So I bring up Evangeline, then I can see what sessions she's speaking in. So Evangeline, I can see is speaking on Monday at 1 o'clock in Engaged Solidarity for Embodied Justice. On Tuesday in Confronting Caste, a Multi-Faith Struggle for Human Rights. And on Friday in Faith-Based Actors and Women's Rights Activists Must Join to Break Down Patriarchy. So that's one way that we can narrow down. We can search for specific speakers that we want to hear from. Another thing that we can look for in the sessions is we can filter by our tracks and our tags. So our tracks, we have Faith and Democracy, the City of Chicago, Charter for Compassion has a track, Climate Action, Faith and Interfaith Understanding, the Global Ethic Document, Indigenous, Next Generation, Peace and Justice. We have a sponsored track from Fetzer focused on the sacred stories for our time, Science and Religion, and Women. So since our women's programming was mentioned by quite a few people as an area of interest, I'll go ahead and filter for that track. So when I click on that, now I'm looking only at our women's track sessions. So now as I scroll through the schedule, it gives me just that focused view. So I can scroll through just the options for the women's track, if that is my area of interest. So those are our tracks. We also have, you can search by keywords of various interests. So this little search box right here, if I click here, I can type in any keyword that I'm interested in. So let's see, what were some, we had gun violence that was mentioned. Let me see what comes up when I search that. Here we are. So we've got a couple sessions. We've got building the beloved community, uniting for justice across lines of race and faith. We've got innovation leadership for social impact. Let's try another keyword that someone mentioned. We have LGBTQ rights. Let's look that up, see what comes up. All right, we've got 8 sessions that come up. And of course, when searching for keywords, you might want to try different variations of a keyword. So LGBTQ, might want to try some other variations of that to see what else comes up, various keywords that you might be interested in. So here are some of the sessions that come up are abolition, feminism and faith, multicultural perspectives on global carceral system. Got pride in the pews, LGBTQ Christians in the Black church. Got documenting women's voices as Wikipedia editors. Pagan voices of Chicago. We got she's trans, she's disabled, yet we both stand for freedom and human rights. Concert. And etc. There's quite a few there. So those are some of the ways to search through the schedule to narrow it down to the things that you're going to be most interested in. Lastly, we'll also just take a quick look at the venue floor plan, because that's also a good thing to explore. Hopefully this loads quickly. Looks like it is. So this is our floor plan of the venue of the event. When it loads, there we are. So I'll just kind of walk through briefly. This level that first comes up, this is where you'll most likely be entering from. This entrance is from the street, from the hotels, or if you're coming by the metro. This bridge is what you're going to be entering in from. And when you enter in, registration will be right up front. And in this main lobby, we're going to have the Kids of Power activities here in the lobby. Our kids activities is something that was started in 2018 and continuing now. So activities for children and their families to explore religious diversity and nonviolence and peace together in fun and engaging ways. Then you'll see off to the left here, we have our exhibit hall. And then through the exhibit hall, and in the exhibit hall, you can search. You see along here, we have all of our exhibitors, so you can see where they all are. In our exhibit hall, we also have the Parliament's booth, where there'll be a bookstore. We have VR activity. We have some other rooms where sessions are occurring. We have a climate village. Then through the exhibit hall up here, we have the plenary hall where all of our main stage plenary sessions happen. Going back out to the lobby, we have our art gallery. We have some temples that are being built. Those would be really cool. Off here in these halls, there are meeting rooms. We also have these terraces, which give us outdoor space to have meetings and activities, which is so great. That's something that we have not always gotten to have at other convenings. So this is why we love this venue. Because not only do we have the outdoor space, but from this patio, we've got the lake right out just past this patio. Then checking out the other floors, on the second floor here, going down, we've got more meeting rooms. We've got a theater, more meeting rooms all throughout this hall. So this is all really mostly just a bunch of meeting rooms. faith rooms for our various faith traditions. And in this lobby space in the middle, we have a labyrinth where there will be some activities, and we have the women's village. Then on the fourth
Yeah.
floor, up top, this is just a few rooms up here. This is some larger meeting rooms up there.
Hey,
Yeah,
go
sorry.
back to level 2, Emma. I just want to talk about the way that people could access Langar.
Yes. My Zoom thing is now in my way. Here we go. No. Little Zoom menus in the
We can just say you'll be able to access Langar is actually outside, so you'll be able to access it through level 2. It's right next door to the Lakeside Center. It's a small park that the city is allowing us to use. And yeah, and basically you're coming in and out of the conference center. They're all really interconnected, but it's going to be outside rather than in a hall like it has been at past parliaments.
That's a good point. I do actually need to add that to this map. So this park here, this empty space here is where Langar will be.
And the Sacred Fire.
Oh yeah,
correct?
out by the lake over here. So there's a door right here that you would go out to get over to this park here, which I will enter.
What is Langar?
Lunch? So Langar is a community meal offered in the Sikh tradition.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. And to that point of getting around to places, anywhere you need to find out how to get, let's say, I am in 253B right now, and I need to figure out how to get to a session on the 4th floor. Yeah. So let's say I need to get to room 450. I can go click on that and then click directions. Put where I am right now. Let's say we're in room 1, and it'll show me directions to get from 251 to room 250B. So you can find your way, hopefully. But it's certainly a pretty simple building to get around. For those that were at 2018 Toronto, you know, that building was so huge and you had to go from one side to another, back and forth. This one, we like that it's just in one area, it's just 3 floors stacked on top of each other. So it's a bit simpler to get around. Yeah, so that's sort of the walkthrough of the program, the general week overview, and the lay of the land. So yeah, I'll turn it over to Shannon now to kind of open up for any questions.
Yeah, great. Well, also, I just want to say, Mimi, do you have any other insider tips about the schedule that maybe we didn't touch on so far?
Not really. I mean, I think kind of taking a few days to kind of look through the program is always very helpful. I will say I think a lot of the general feedback is because it's both kind of a reunion for a lot of people and a networking event. What ends up happening is you might sign up or you might flag a few programs, but then you meet people and you go to their session and you're kind of just experiencing the parliament very organically. So if there are things that you are very passionate about, I'd say absolutely do the quick search. I think Emma's point about kind of doing keyword search is really helpful. But yeah, I mean, as much as you can plan it, I really do think that the parliament itself is very, very much an experience. You can plan it as much as you can, but really you're just kind of existing. And you know, I think that's the power of the parliament, right? It's like every single individual attendee has their own experience just because it's so broad and it's so diverse, which I think is really powerful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now, perfect time. We'll open it up for questions. And Abigail, you've already got me. I was going to say, if you have a question, please raise your hand on through Zoom, and we'll open it up for questions. I also see we've had some in the chat, and so we can address. I know Mimi, you've done a great job of answering them, but if we wanted to go through for the group, but yeah, Abigail, why don't you start us off?
Okay.
With a question?
Yeah, I see when you you can look up by name, by speaker name. You're going to look up by first and last name. I know at one of the parliaments, everyone was really confused because some of the names were looked up by last name, by their title, by this or that. You couldn't find anybody. So I'm hoping that this will be consistent, that you look at, you know, if you're looking up Evangeline, you'll start with E, Evangeline, and then the last name.
Yes.
So it's by first name, alphabetical order, no titles, correct?
Correct. I think it all, yeah, I mean, if you search any part of their name, then they should come up.
Okay, good, because that will be so much easier, and I appreciate that we couldn't find people. I don't know if it was in Toronto or the year or the Parliament before, but that'll be helpful, and we'll still get those huge books with all the things, because I think we signed up for that too.
And
Program books.
of course, with the names, it does depend on how they gave us their name, you know, so if they go by a nickname and that's what they gave us, but then you're searching their full name, that, you know, it is going to depend on what we were provided as the spelling of their name.
But yes, there is a program book. If you chose that option as
Yeah.
during your
Yeah, we did.
registration, yes, you can pick it up during the
And we
registration
still want
process.
the app too, so whenever the app comes, you'll send that to us.
So it should be, fingers crossed, it should be ready this month. So you will be the first to know for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And so Janice, you had your hand up next, if you want to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I was just a couple of questions. So I asked about the parade. So is that by McCormick Place, or where's the parade actually located then? On Sunday?
So we are waiting just on a final confirmation from the city, but we're expecting that the location should be along Columbus Drive.
Columbus Drive. Okay.
So it's pretty much
Park.
downtown, and yeah, that's going to be open for free to the public. So even those who are not registered for the convening, anyone can come to
Okay.
that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I might be downtown with my family, so it might be kind of like a nice thing to do. And then in terms of the labyrinth, so kind of like the dances, I know do like pop-up dances places. Since I haven't been there before, I guess I'm asking, could it be on the labyrinth, or probably more next to the labyrinth, or in different spaces, like open spaces type of thing? Does it matter? Just kind of curious.
I'm sorry, I think I missed that. Would what be next to the labyrinth?
So just like, so the dances of Universal Peace, they sometimes do like pop-up dance circles. And so, I mean, I love the labyrinth as like kind of like a center. And so could we do dances on the labyrinth? Or, I mean, and I guess if people are there, then we would do it next to it or something like that. So I guess it just depends on if it was occupied, I would think.
Yeah, I think that would just kind of depend on the
Depend on,
stances.
okay.
Yeah, I think the space availability. It is a very, as you can see from the expo breakdown, it is a very busy conference center. So I
Yeah.
think my experience with the dances, that they kind of become organically, again, just
Right.
where there's space available. Which
Okay.
I imagine that's probably going to be the case as well. But again, it is in August. It's really nice outside. You can always do really great things in the
Outside.
terrace or outside as well. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Thanks.
Wonderful, thanks so much. And Beth?
My question was about the parade too. Like, can you describe it to us more? Tell us, are people marching in the parade? Is there music? Are people wearing vestments, traditional liturgical dress, or what's the parade like?
All of the above. Yes, everything that you said. And this is our first time doing this parade, so we're really excited about this. This is one of those ways that we're really trying to make this Parliament convening, that experience, out in front of the general public and accessible to the general public. So it's focusing on celebrating the local diversity in Chicago. And the idea is, yeah, so we've got units from various faith traditions, and they're coming to march in the parade. Some might have a vehicle or a float, some might just be walking. They'll have signs, music, dancing, all of the above. Yeah.
Throwing candy out to the people on the street, all those things.
Yeah. Each unit really, creates what they want to do with their marching group.
And do you know where the parade, like so should I contact other Presbyterians in Chicago to see, like, do we have a group that's walking in the parade?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, I don't think that a Presbyterian group has signed up yet. So yeah, I definitely would recommend doing that.
And do you know where the parade starts and where it ends and what direction it's flowing?
Again, we are waiting for those final details to be confirmed. But the plan that we know of right now is, I think it's so along Columbus, but I think it's Balbo to Monroe, I think.
I'll share the landing page for all of you so you can kind of see and get some details specifically about that. But yeah, as Emma's saying, you can actually still sign up. So if you have, whether you're in Chicago in the vicinity or your faith community might be interested and there's a group in the city that you think might be able to participate, getting them involved now would be amazing. So our current plan, and that's, we're working with the city on finalizing it, but our plan is to start, yes, on Columbus Drive, and then we are going north and stopping at Monroe, which is right by the Crown Fountain. So you can find the map and the information related to the parade on the website.
Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. And so I got a direct message from someone saying, if someone does not have internet access, how will they get the program?
So that would require purchasing a program book. I think that's probably the most accessible way to do so. We are primarily right now in the pre-order stage, but there will be some extra copies available on site that people can purchase as well. It's in the past, it was usually free, but with our commitment to sustainability, we really want to limit the print of program books as much as possible. So it is something of an add-on rather than just having it on the program. But we'll also have it available as a PDF that people can download. So if you would like to do that ahead of time, the PDF will be available before you get to the conference center. So there will be a variety of ways that you can get that. But again, just as a general catch up, if there are last minute changes to the program, the app will have the most up-to-date information, so that as you're kind of, again, living and existing within the conference, that will be your best asset if you can have it. And we do plan to have, I believe, at least a section in the conference center that has a computer where you could check in if maybe you don't have internet, but you just wanted to see what's going on. So that's an alternative as well.
Great.
I have a question, and
Thanks.
it's actually two questions. One is, because I initiated this panel on engaged solidarity for embodied justice, and we were to be 4 on the panel, and I think 2 of them missed that bus of registering when it was still 300 something, and now that it has jumped up to some 400 plus. So I was wondering, what is the possibility of those who didn't register, but who we had kind of named as panelists? Is there a way they can still participate, at least, if possible in person, if not on Zoom? I mean, is there some common program, or is there some thought on that?
Actually, if they haven't registered, they do have to be registered. So if they want to contact us, presenters do have access to a still discounted presenter rate, so they can still use that rate if they want to contact us.
Okay.
They can also use a
Thank
day
you.
pass alternatively as well. We will say there aren't really hybrid options happening at the Parliament just because there will be
Okay.
so many people, and the Wi-Fi connection, while free at the is going to be overpowered. So if you can have those people attend in person, we recommend pre-recording
Sure.
rather than Zoom, just because the connection, we can't guarantee that it will be available. But of course, we recommend in
May
person
I
as much as-
may I contact you, Miriam? Would that
Sure,
be-
yeah.
Okay.
I can kind of guide you through what the next steps are on
Thank
regards
you.
to that.
Thank you. That is one. And the second is, yes, we come with ready themes, topics, and the overarching theme itself. I'm wondering if there is any space we have created for the possibility of building on that coalition for justice and peace right then and there. Is there a way for people to, just space and time for people to gather and, speak emphatically on this theme of coalition for justice and peace? Is there any existing kind of time slot and space?
So if you've been, oh, go ahead, Emma.
This is my first Parliament.
Yeah, let Miriam, I'll let you answer as well, but I would say, as far as more unstructured time for dialogue, that's one reason that we have these networking events for our
Networking.
yeah. So then that gives you
Okay.
to really connect with each other,
Mhm.
Around various topics that you're especially interested in. Also, I would just say that our lunchtime is a time where that more informal dialogue happens. We're all sitting together,
Okay.
people who you've maybe never met before.
Okay. Thank you.
Miriam, is there anything else that you wanted to add onto that?
No, I think you did a really good job. I think realistically, and maybe some of the other individuals who have attended in the past can kind of talk a little bit about what their experience has been, but it really, again, it's very organic conference. So a lot of the dialogue that's not happening at the sessions, which there are very many of. So you could, if you wanted to look through the program and just find workshops that are dedicated to that topic, those are really great areas where you could have those discussions very openly and very interactively. But I think that's kind of the sense that you get from a Parliament, right? Where it's like during your lunch breaks, as you're walking from session to session, there are small breakout of people just having dialogue, having discussions about the things that they're most passionate about. So I wouldn't say that it's a very structured way for us to say like there's a a network building capacity that just happens on site. It really is organic in that regard.
Shannon, you're muted.
Sorry, I realized I was muted. I feel like that's on a Zoom bingo card. No, I was saying if anyone, we have a few minutes before we wrap up today. If anyone else had any questions, now's the time. You could also, I saw someone who said they don't have access to a microphone. You can also put your question in the chat. We'll be able to read it out loud and you can do that. Or I have, a prepared question or two if, no one else. Okay, go ahead, Beth. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to the three of you for all of the many, many months and years you have spent organizing this. I'm very excited to attend for the first time, and I want you to know how much I appreciate your dedication to putting this all together. It looks amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, especially Emma and Mimi, they're like doing such incredible work. Thank you. I know that means so much. Another quick question or two. I was thinking, what these tents, like these different climate, there's the women's tent, there's the climate places, what can someone expect at some of these other areas that aren't a typical structured session?
Sure, I can talk a little bit about that. I will say there are meeting rooms, so there will actually be like panels and workshops like structured that way, but they really are also meant and kind of talking back about like where people can convene. They really are meant to be convening spaces primarily on those topics, right? So the women's space Again, for those people who have attended in the past, there's been women's sacred space where women just kind of convene. Sometimes it's just spiritual. They're just praying. They're just, taking a moment of silence. Sometimes it is just open dialogue that people are carrying out. And then in the Climate Village specifically, I know that they're doing a lot of open discussions, and they're going to have a lot of activities. I know that there's one group specifically that's actually planning, and Emma, I think you know a little bit more about this, but they're actually doing a fashion show around sustainable fashion, and the ways that that climate action and climate activism can coexist with a lot of these different discussions. So it's a very open dialogue, and it's a very kind of diverse level of non-traditional programming that's going to be happening. So it's both dialogue, but then it's also experiential.
Incredible. Emma, do you have anything else you'd like to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah, so the green tent is a programming dialogue area within the Climate Village. And the Climate Village is a dedicated section of the exhibit hall for climate action related exhibit booths and activities. They'll have some whiteboards in the middle of the space for, just writing ideas or, responding to certain prompts. There'll be art exhibits related to climate action within that Climate Village. Same thing with the Women's Village. It's, an area of the lobby that kind of blends with the rest of the space, but creates a dedicated sort of feminine flowing space within there. And they'll have art worked in within there. They've said that they have, some water features and some seating areas, and they're creating a really cool space. Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, great. And Janice, it looks like you have a question.
So yeah, I was wondering about the kids area. I mean, I'm assuming anyone can go in there. Will there be like materials and suggestions of things to bring home to kids as well? I'm assuming there'd be people that are organizing that I'd be able to meet with and talk with and as well. So just a little bit about that area.
Mimi, you're muted.
Yes, absolutely. So they're kind of serving as small booths for different faith communities that are organizing very specific child-oriented activities. So for example, the Janes, they're actually bringing a baby calf, and they're talking about the ways that veganism is such a critical aspect of their tradition, and the way that kindness and empathy begins even with a different life form. So there will be very much like interactive elements where children are participating and engaging and learning about those traditions, but typically they also have handouts and information. And then our partners who are helping us organizing this spiritual play date, they will have their own booth as well. So absolutely, you can connect and get materials as well. But the actual kids area, again, it'll be a lot more experiential for the children, but anyone of any age can really experience. I mean, they're kind of geared for children 6 to 13, but younger children, even adults, have participated in the past.
Okay, cool. Great, thank you.
Wonderful. I'm just checking the chat. And then one last quick question. When we're at these conferences, I feel like there's so much happening and you're taking your notes, but sometimes you take so many notes, it's hard to enjoy the session. So is there anything that's going to be recorded that people can kind of look back and, be able to rewatch and re-experience some of the convening?
Oh, Miriam, you're muted.
Sorry, I don't know how that keeps happening. Not typically. I will say some presenters will choose to bring their own team to record their session, and then they will share it with us, and we typically add it to the member hub. So some of the past recordings that you find in the member hub are from people who recorded their session. There might be a few that if we're able to, we might be able to, but really, I mean, in-person parliaments, we're looking at 840 sessions right now. There's no way that we can capture all of that. So sadly, it is very much, and again, I say like every individual experience says their own parliament, because you really just experience what you get to attend. excuse me, sadly. But the plenaries will be recorded and the assemblies will be recorded, and typically Sacred Music Night is recorded as well. So those for sure will have a live after the Parliament. But unfortunately, no, the breadth of the sessions are not recorded.
But at least with the plenaries or things like that, that's great that, you know, we'll be able to go back and access and on the member hub.
Yes.
As we wrap up today, I just want to thank you, thank everyone for, attending this event. And we just, again, want to emphasize, right, those meet and greets, please, so you guys can meet your fellow members and also, learn more about what it's like to be a member, especially once the convening, is to a close. It's going to go in a blink. How do you stay connected, right, with the Parliament and with fellow members? So please make sure to bookmark those sessions on both Monday and Friday. And then also, please, we're going to put the link in the chat now. Oh, perfect. Someone already did. So the links to please join for we revitalized our member forum. And so it's really, we're going to meet people where they are. Where are we on Facebook and on LinkedIn? So please make sure to join those so you can even talk to folks and find, okay, like with this, you guys can connect with each other as well as, finding buddies at the convening. So please join those groups. And we also will be likely posting this recording as well. And so, we just really, thank you all. And, we look forward to seeing you at the convening. Is there anything, Emma or Mimi, that you guys would like to add?
Thank you for joining us today and for being members. Your support really helps make our work happen. And I hope that you'll join our networking sessions for members during the convening so that we can all get to know each other a little more. This is what the membership program is really about, not just supporting the work of the Parliament, but creating this medium where you can stay connected and stay more engaged between the convening, at the convening and in that time between.
Absolutely. And thank you. I mean, I always say we work for the Parliament, but really what makes the Parliament special is every single one of you. We really couldn't do it without you, even those who have never attended in the past. I will say, I think you're what makes each individual Parliament unique. And again, anyone who has attended in the past can kind of tell you each Parliament is very different. I think that the mission of it is very constant, but the experience is unique based on who's attending. So thank you for participating, and I hope to see you all face to face at the conference.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you, everyone, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
To meet all of you.
Yes.
Bye.